Chapter 2.0 Thermochemistry 2.1 Concept of Enthalpy. At the end of the lessons, students should be able to A. Explain endothermic and exothermic reactions using the complete energy profile diagram. B. State the standard conditions of reaction and define the following terms. 1. Enthalpy. 2. Standard enthalpy. C. Define and write the thermochemical equation for each enthalpy below. 1. Formation. 2. Combustion. 3. Atomization. 4. Neutralization. 5. Hydration. 6. Solution or dissolution. Important terms you need to know. First, heat. Heat is energy transferred between two bodies of different temperatures. Second, system. System is any specific part of the universe. Third, surrounding. Surroundings is everything that lies outside the system. There is 3 types of systems. First, open system. Open system is a system that can exchange mass and energy with its surroundings. Second, closed system. Closed system is a system that allows the exchange of energy with its surroundings. Third, isolated system. Isolated system is a system which does not allow the exchange of either mass or energy with its surroundings. What is thermochemistry? Thermochemistry is a study of heat change in chemical reactions. Almost all chemical reactions absorb or release energy in the forms of heat. There is 2 types of chemical reactions, that is exothermic and endothermic. Endothermic reactions. For endothermic reactions, the enthalpy of products is larger than enthalpy of reactants. Delta H is positive. The energy is absorbed from the system to the surroundings. Here is energy profile diagram for exothermic reaction. Exothermic reactions. The enthalpy of products is smaller than enthalpy of reactants. Delta H is negative. The energy is released from the system to the surroundings. Here is the energy profile diagram for exothermic reaction. What is enthalpy? H. Enthalpy is a type of chemical energy. It is the heat content of a system or total energy in the system. Enthalpy of a system cannot be measured when there is a change in the system. Enthalpy of reaction, delta H. Enthalpy of reaction is the enthalpy change associated with a chemical reaction. It is the difference between the enthalpy of the products and enthalpy of the reactants. Standard enthalpy change. The symbol of standard enthalpy change is read as delta H standard, or perhaps more commonly as delta H naught. Standard enthalpy is the enthalpy change for a particular reaction that occurs at 298 Kelvin and 1 atm. There are 6 types of enthalpies. First, enthalpies of formation. Second, enthalpies of combustion. Third, enthalpies of atomization. Fourth, enthalpies of neutralization. Fifth, enthalpies of hydration. Sixth, enthalpies of solution or dissolution. Enthalpy of formation, delta HF. Enthalpy of formation is the change of heat when 1 mole of the compound is formed from its elements at their most stable states at stated condition. Example of stated condition is 100 degrees Celsius and 1 atm. The standard enthalpy of any element in its most stable state form is 0. Standard enthalpy of formation, delta H naught F. Standard enthalpy of formation is the change in enthalpy for the reaction that forms 1 mole of the compound from its elements with all substances in their standard states. We usually report delta H naught F values at 298 Kelvin. Here is an equation to represent the standard enthalpy of formation. Enthalpy of combustion, delta Hc. Enthalpy of combustion is the heat released when 1 mole of the substance is burned completely in excess oxygen. Standard enthalpy of combustion, delta H0C. Standard enthalpy of combustion is the heat released when 1 mole of the substance is burned completely in excess oxygen at standard state. Standard state is 1 atm and 298 Kelvin. Here are the examples of standard enthalpies of combustion. Enthalpy of atomization, delta HA. Enthalpy of atomization is the heat absorbed when 1 mole of the gas's atom is formed from its element. Enthalpy of atomization is always positive because it only involves breaking the bonds. Enthalpy of neutralization, delta HN. Enthalpy of neutralization is the heat released when 1 mole of the water is formed from neutralization of acid and base. Enthalpy of hydration, delta H hydration. Enthalpy of hydration is the heat change when 1 mole of gaseous ions is hydrated in water. Enthalpy of solution, delta H solution. Enthalpy of solution is the heat change when 1 mole of substance is dissolved in water. Thank you for watching this video.